Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO pod, as well as Venmo if you want to support the show. I
Yes.
am Bradley here with co-caster Jared. Jared, I I don't know if flowers are going to be enough. How you doing?
I think the only thing I have to look forward to is the potential victory in the U.S. presidential election because Auburn is not going to win anything. So I don't know, man. It is a rough year for Auburn fans. I could sit here and cry about it, and but I had my tears over the weekend. I think now it's just that bitterness, that realities that you just have to swallow, and I'm swallowing it, but I don't like it. So,
Yeah.
but that said, let's not make all the focus on the Auburn pain. There's a lot of joy in the Knoxville camp, and rightfully so.
Well,
So, Bradley, congratulations to your Vols.
thank you.
I am thrilled for where Tennessee's going. It looks like that could be an SEC championship game.
I you know I hope so. And
Hmm.
also, we got to play 4 quarters. We got to play two
Yes,
halves
yes.
to have a shot at A, getting to that game, and B, winning that game.
But
Um,
you're in a position to get there, and
yeah,
that is what Tennessee fans longed for years. And you're there.
yeah,
You're in a spot. You can control your own destiny to a degree. So
yeah. I mean, we got a couple of tests on the
yeah,
road.
they're always tests. So
Yeah. We got a couple quizzes and a couple tests before the end of the semester.
and a group
And
project is that yeah.
yeah, we may need to see how that group project goes.
Yeah.
But let's jump into week 10 games. Ole Miss, I think just playing for pride and style points.
And they earn those,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Um
Yeah.
uh Taking down Arkansas 63-31.
A good Arkansas team. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, an Arkansas team that has beat Tennessee and
Yeah.
beat quite a few other teams, taking teams to the wire.
Hmm. That's the craziest thing about the cannibalization of the SEC,
Yeah.
which I'm sure we'll talk more about. But seeing some of these teams like Arkansas beat Tennessee, but then you go against Ole Miss and you're like, hey, I think they could probably hang with Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is like, nope, not this weekend.
Yeah.
And that's the Ole Miss I thought we'd be seeing all season long. So how
Agreed.
they lost to Kentucky, I'm not even sure, but they did. So here we are.
Yeah. And don't I mean Kentucky still is a hard out. They are a tough
Yeah,
out.
they're not a pushover, but they're not amazing. Let's not
Right.
pretend.
Yeah.
Auburn beat them, so that's our only SEC win this year. So
Let's keep it in perspective. Auburn beat
yeah,
them.
they are the
Well,
Mississippi State of what was the East. So
yeah. So you know, Arkansas just rough day. Still scored 31 points.
yeah, you got 31
But
points, you got beat. That's,
yeah, you score 31 points, and you still get beat by 32. Um,
yeah, yeah. If you're Arkansas, I don't know. I don't know that you feel too terrible about that. You got 31, you couldn't defend. And Ole Miss is a good, offense. So um,
yeah.
I don't think anybody expected
Jackson
Arkansas to
Dart
be. Yeah.
played like the Jackson Dart that we expected to see most of
Yes,
this season.
I agree.
Which uh, was it
This
last
is
week?
this is the that was the Ole Miss team that I expected this season.
Yeah,
Truthfully, I
yeah,
expected that team, um, and that's what showed up Saturday. But they haven't showed up every Saturday like that, and that's why they are where they are.
yeah,
But that is a good team, and they beat a good Arkansas team. So congrats to Lane and the Ole Miss crew.
yeah. And Arkansas has a bye this next week, while Ole Miss hosts Georgia,
No rest for the weary. Yep.
which um coming off a game like this and coming off Georgia's game that we'll get to in a second,
Mhm.
like now this game is much more intriguing.
It is. Yeah.
Uh, so
And I'm sure we'll get there, but I felt a little bit of pride for the Florida Gators, even
yeah,
though. you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, they fought. Uh, but going from what was that, 94 total points to 24 total points. Vanderbilt takes down the War Eagle Tigers
Yep.
in Jordan-Hare.
Yeah.
Um,
And not even an amazing game for Vandy,
mm-mm.
but they found a way to win, and that's what good teams do. And Vanderbilt is a good team, and
Yeah,
they,
don't
I'm not
don't mess with
hating.
Vandy.
Yeah, you don't mess with Vandy. Vandy's beaten Alabama and Auburn, and I don't think that's happened in half a century or more. So
Ever,
um,
I don't think.
maybe never. You're right.
So I think
But Vanderbilt was a little banged up in that game too, and this is a long season, man. And can they sustain that? The rest of the year,
yeah. Yeah, they
because it's not getting any easier. So
no,
they
they
keep playing tough people. So,
yeah,
but they're going bowling no matter what, and good for them.
which
So
is
for Vanderbilt, that's massive.
yeah, I
So
mean this is the earliest they've been bowl eligible in
yeah, decades probably, or
yeah.
at least since Franklin.
Well, I think I heard that Jeff uh Jeff Franklin couldn't do it, wasn't bowl eligible until one game later,
Okay.
which is quite impressive because he had some good teams.
No, I'm
Uh,
really happy for them. I'm happy for Clark Lee. I'm sure Vandy wishes they could keep Diego another year.
right. Yeah.
Just enjoy it while you can, because Vanderbilt's going to be right back where they were next year. So
Yeah. It and they host South Carolina this
which
week.
we already saw what they can do.
Yeah.
I don't think neither myself or you have slept on South Carolina this year. We've known South Carolina can be dangerous, and South Carolina, finally uh, did what we knew they were capable of all along. I just didn't think they'd do it against Texas A&M, if I'm honest. But
Right.
I don't know if you want to flip to that game now or not. But
We'll get to there. We'll get there in just a second. Lucky for Auburn, a bye. It it sucks going into a bye after a loss, but hopefully that also brings some focus uh to the team as well
yeah,
to finish strong.
well, the fans have said bye on this season, so it's I think that's the bye that is really happening here. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, and then the next game, Oklahoma versus Maine. Oklahoma pretty much had a bye, winning
Yeah,
59-14. Um,
I don't
but
know how they were able to schedule that, and good for them. So
yeah, but Oklahoma finally did what I expected them to do early in the season against lesser opponents that they never did. I remember
mm,
talking about this going into the Tennessee game. It's like, okay, Tennessee is taking care of business against lesser opponents. Oklahoma struggled. They didn't struggle. Well, Maine may have
man,
scored first. I can't remember.
yeah.
Um, but after that, it was all Oklahoma
Yeah, I think
who,
Oklahoma is one of those teams that you don't know what you're going to get. They could come out and whoop you, or you might get lucky and catch them this year. Got to enjoy it while you can if you do catch them though, because I don't think this is going to happen season after season for them. That's just not Oklahoma football. So
right. Yeah. No, I don't think anybody's going to stand for uh this type of season year in, year
yeah,
out.
they've had a rough one.
And a test next week at Missouri.
Yeah,
Um,
that'll be a good game.
uh, old old Big 12 foe.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's always cool to see. I enjoy that.
yeah. Um, and then you brought up the Gators just a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm proud of the Gators, man. They're not amazing, but they're fighting.
Yeah, I mean
So they've got some players. They got some dogs.
they
So
and they nearly took Georgia to the wire. I mean, the final score was 34-20, but it was a lot closer than this.
it was, yeah,
Um, Carson Beck threw three picks. Um, I'll tell you, every week as a Tennessee fan, I feel better and better about our chances against Georgia.
yeah,
Um, the biggest thing being that game's in Athens, and I
yeah.
mean,
That's not an easy place to win.
especially depending on how things go. with Ole Miss.
Mhm.
Um, I I don't know, but I'm liking my chances against Georgia in a few
Yeah,
weeks.
it's
So,
coming up. It's going to be a hell of a game. I'm looking forward
um,
to it.
but but yeah, Florida held a lead for most of the game, held a lead at halftime. Um, I don't think it was till late in the third quarter that Georgia finally pulled ahead and stayed ahead. But uh, it and this is not the same Georgia we've seen in years past, but Napier had his guys competing for 60 minutes, um, which we haven't seen all year at times. Um,
No, they showed up and they held their own. And that game was in Jacksonville, but Jacksonville, the stadium there is going to have some renovations. So the next two seasons, one of the years, I believe the first year it's going to be in Atlanta, there and at the Mercedes Dome, and then the following year in Tampa, where the Buccaneers play.
yeah,
So that ought to be kind of a fun switch up
yeah.
while they renovate the Jacksonville Stadium for that series the next 2 years, and a chance for those fans to go somewhere different. I've always kind of wondered why they didn't just play home and home, to be honest, though.
I I think it was, if I remember hearing correctly, it was something to do. Was it something to do with Jacksonville Stadium when Jacksonville built their NFL stadium? Um, that they kind of proposed this idea of being a neutral site game, neutral site being not far from Gainesville and being
Oh, it's definitely further
the
from
full length of Georgia.
Athens than it is from Gainesville. But yeah, it's I've never physically gone to that game, but I've talked to people who have, and they enjoy it and they like it, and it is a good game, and it's maybe in a way it's kind of like the SEC's Oklahoma Texas Cotton Bowl type thing. But yeah, the next two seasons, those fans get to go somewhere else. They get to
Yeah.
go to Atlanta and they get to go to Tampa. So
And
it'll be
that would be kind of cool to see it alternate between Atlanta and Jacksonville or Atlanta and Tampa.
totally.
Um,
I think that'd be more fair, to be honest. So
yeah, year to year and
if you're not going to do home and home, yeah,
yeah.
switch it
Um,
up.
I mean, but I I kind of feel like Georgia already plays usually a season opener in Mercedes-Benz and then to
Yeah, maybe
play
that's why they didn't do that, but they are doing it next season, so they'll
yeah,
have that's basically like a home game for them. That'd be like LSU playing in New Orleans.
Nolans. Yeah,
So yep.
true. Um, UGA at Ole Miss, as we said already. Florida goes to Texas. So
Yeah, not counting on that as a victory for Florida, but maybe they'll surprise us.
yeah,
Yeah.
not pretty. Um, then we had Mississippi State beating UMass.
Yep,
State started behind,
got to
but
take the
roared
wins
back
where you
to win
get
at
them.
home,
Yep,
45-20. Um,
yeah. Mississippi State is they're having a rough year, and they just lost a pretty good commitment too in their recruiting class. So
yeah,
poor guys, man, tough.
yeah.
It's tough.
It's
So
yeah. I'm I want to see State do well, and they kind of just they can't they can't win for losing at the moment.
I don't want to see them do well against my team, but yeah, I'm okay with seeing them do well against others.
Well, yeah, and I
So
don't want to see them do well this next week because they go to Tennessee. Um,
I think that's probably a win for Tennessee, but you know, never say never. But yeah, I feel pretty good about that one.
yeah, hopefully there's no Neyland Stadium hangover from
Oh man, I can't
this last
imagine.
week.
Yeah,
Um,
certainly not.
uh, but I'll tell you who probably has a hangover is Texas A&M getting beat by South Carolina, getting
Yeah,
thumped
thumped.
44-20.
Yeah,
Um,
Beamer showed up,
but yeah,
man.
Beamer
He has
ball
boys
takes
ready.
takes down the last uh
Undefeated
undefeated
SEC school.
team, yeah,
Yeah.
undefeated team in conference play. Um, so A&M now with two losses, well, one to a non-conference opponent, one to a conference opponent. Um, South Carolina's just one of those teams. It's one of those teams that it's a program that's hard to recruit. Uh, I think part of it is everybody's to your west. Um, but also, I mean, I don't know what it is about South Carolina. I think being a smaller state, not having the in-state uh recruiting plus having to compete with Clemson, um, as well as North Carolina, NC State, Duke, because the Carolinas kind of act as one state in a lot of ways for recruiting.
Yeah,
Um, it's tough, but I like what they got in Shane Beamer, and
yeah.
I, I mean
I feel like he's
he
the right guy there, but
yeah,
just because you're the right guy there doesn't mean 10 wins. And it
yeah,
may never mean that. And it's like Beamer might be the equivalent for South Carolina as Stoops is for Kentucky.
that's
Um,
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
and as a South Carolina fan, you just have to probably accept that. You've had a few outlying years where they've had some, really good seasons, back when the old ball coach was there.
yeah.
He had a couple good years, and but
But
usually
surprisingly, only a
that's not
couple of
consistent.
good years. Like he couldn't
Yeah, it's hard. It's
he
hard to
couldn't
win in
get
South
even
Carolina.
he
Yeah,
couldn't get close to what he had at Florida. And
yeah.
and I figured if anybody can have that kind of success, it would be him. But um
Well, truthfully, I thought Muschamp would have done better there than he did.
true.
But because if you recall, he had been the Gators coach prior to that, and he had learned all the lessons you're supposed to learn, what not to do
Yeah.
coaching for the Gators, and he goes to South Carolina. It's like, okay, he might have a legitimate shot here to, make a decent, team out of the Gamecocks, and here we are. But Beamer's a good hire, and I think they just have to kind of accept South Carolina football for what it is. But when
Yeah.
they get a big win like Texas A&M, you got to celebrate that, and you got to get fined $250,000 for going on the field, and they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. It oh uh
Yeah, how often does South Carolina fans get to rush the field? I mean, not
right.
not ever. So,
And I'm
you
trying
take that. That's like Vanderbilt.
yeah, and I'm trying to remember if I think it was SEC Shorts. Um had a great thing because A&M accepts the money because now if you rush the field, the rule is in the SEC. I think the first violation is $100,000, second is 250 or something like that, but the money goes directly to the opposing team. So
That seems fair. Yeah.
South Carolina storms the field, A&M gets 100 grand, and what SEC Shorts did is A&M's reaching for the money and they've got somebody sitting right next to A&M and said, "Oh no, 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 thank you. This is going to Jimbo's buyout.
Fly out.
You're 0.33% there." It's like,
Well, yeah, the true winner in that situation was Jimbo Fisher, and
yeah,
but no, Aggies should have handled business. They couldn't do it, so South Carolina, good for them, and they needed that win, and that was a
yeah,
good one.
yep.
So
They and
I
yeah, A&M
love it,
gets a bye this week.
Jimbo Fisher. That's hilarious.
USC goes to Vanderbilt, which since Saban has said, the easiest place to play is at Vanderbilt, uh, call it
Nope,
call it the
not this
Saban
year.
curse.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think that's a well said. The Saban curse.
it is hard to play
Yeah.
against Vanderbilt
Go
now.
ahead, go play Vanderbilt this season at Vanderbilt. And
Yeah,
if you lose, that's on you
yeah,
because they have proven that they're not a cupcake.
yeah.
So don't treat them as such.
Thanks, little Nicky. Um,
It's true.
little Ni little Nicky Saban.
Nick Saban is
Saban. Excuse me,
I've never been
Oregon's.
so thankful to see him commentating.
He's great. I
And he
love
is
him in
really good
college.
at that. You're right.
And
And he seems like he's having fun. Good for him.
yeah, and I much rather see him on game day than on Alabama sideline.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think every
anytime my team's playing.
non-Alabama school agrees with that and is saying amen. And if
Yeah,
they're not, then yeah, shame on them.
Yeah.
So,
And our final game of the week was Tennessee taking down Kentucky 28-18. Why is it so hard for us to beat Kentucky? Um,
and it's a good rivalry game, and Kentucky does have that that desire to give it their best, and that best has not been enough. It looks like this season, but it was enough against Ole Miss. But
yeah.
yeah, Tennessee's just a better team. They pulled it off, and but yeah. Yeah, you got that one behind you. Now it's
Yeah.
time to, let's welcome in Mississippi State, and then you start, really getting super serious because you're talking potential SEC championship. You're talking playoff run. Could could we be talking in a few weeks here about Tennessee playing for a national championship?
Hey, feels
It
like
is,
98.
it is possible.
Feels
It
like
is
98.
possible. Does it happen? I mean, we've seen around the country who are the teams, that are the big dogs, and is Tennessee really not on, the same level as those folks? I'm not sure that they couldn't go toe to toe with Oregon or Miami or some of these other schools. You're seeing SMU beat up on the ACC.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's I really feel good about Tennessee's opportunity, and I'm hoping they can seize it. I really
Yeah.
do. I really mean that for Tennessee fans. I hope that they can, you know, take advantage of what the gift that is this season. They have
Yeah.
a shot.
Yeah.
So
I think the defense has really carried them because they haven't been
yeah,
scoring the points in conference play like we expected.
yeah, Heupel's
Um,
gonna have to fix that. Yeah,
and hopefully hopefully we turn around against Mississippi State and carry
yeah.
that into the last three
But
weeks.
but good teams win ugly, and
Yeah.
that a win's a win.
And
So enjoy it.
and that is yeah, we've won a lot of ugly games this year in this conference, and I don't know. I hope it carries us. Our
Man, and yeah, those wins count. So you got a couple more you need to knock out, and
yeah,
and then we're having a different conversation.
yeah.
So this is an exciting thing for Vols fans, I think, and I can understand the reservations. And you're being very humble right now, but if I were you, I'd be freaking out,
But I am excited.
as you should be. Yeah,
I also just look at the schedule. I'm like, dang, we got played at Georgia and at Vanderbilt.
but they can win those games. They
They are
can win those
winnable.
games. They
Yeah,
are winnable. No one's invincible. They can win those games. They're not going to be easy, but I mean, no gauntlet in the SEC is easy.
yeah.
So I like Tennessee's opportunity. I really do.
I do too. I liked um again our former walk on getting an interception.
Mhm.
Um he
I
he's
I
had
say if Tennessee, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no
if
no go
Tennessee
ahead.
goes to the SEC championship game, I say you and I, maybe we don't go to that game, but I say we at least go and like tailgate or something.
Hey, I'm down. I mean,
We can
let's
watch it
do
at the bar across the street, but that would be fun.
I'm all for it.
If they get there, I think that'd be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Okay, little tangent. Tennessee makes it. Um, do you somebody brought this up because it's kind of like in the NFL, the last game of the season. Um, do you rest your players and take the L, which would give you a lower seed, but then you're also playing a lower seed, or do you just say no, I want to win because chances are you're not going to get the top seed.
uh,
So, I mean,
I respect the
it,
question. I understand the question. I
it's been
don't
a
think I
chaotic
don't think
season. So,
there is a player for Tennessee that's going to go for that. I don't think
true.
a true fan, is going to go for that either because that's the SEC championship, and Tennessee, if they have it right within their grasp, I think they're not gonna sit anybody. They're gonna want to take it. and this could be the year to take it.
Yeah.
And yes, it could have implications in the playoffs, but man, what's more important? I don't know. I think an SEC championship is pretty important to see, and I think Heupel would not. I can't imagine Heupel sitting out good players in an SEC championship game. That's treating it like it's the Camilla Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah, this is not
Yeah.
that. This is a big deal, and whoever they play, assuming they get there, they're not going to do that either.
Yeah.
So it's going to
And
be a good matchup, and it's going to be a battle, and then you'll take your chances and then go into the playoffs.
yeah. And I'm
You know,
part of me hopes that the SEC championship is UT versus that other school in Austin,
it could be.
the battle of the T's. I mean,
Um, Wouldn't
what
that be something?
the
That would
the
be a
battle
fun
for
first,
Orange.
yeah, first year for Texas, getting the SEC championship and playing against the other UT, the real UT, as we know. Um, yeah, that'd be a really good matchup. Actually, I'd enjoy that. We'll
Yeah.
see. That'd be
I,
fun.
I would also love to see, and they were, I think they were talking about this uh, on the uh on the broadcast. It got to what I believe was 115 decibels at the game Saturday night. If Tennessee were to host a playoff game, how nuts would that stadium be?
It's going to be bananas, and for all the right reasons. So,
Yeah,
I just hope they don't get pitted against like an Alabama or somebody like that. Like don't put them against an SEC school. That's all. That's
yeah,
what I don't want to see. I
yeah,
don't want to see Tennessee make the playoff after, especially if they win the SEC championship, and then they got to play, one of the top three. Then they got to play Ole Miss first round. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to
yeah,
see that. I want to see them play Penn State or whoever the other. I want to see them play somebody else, and I want to see them, represent. I
yeah,
hope they do that, but you know how they are, man.
yeah.
It's dirty.
Who
Oh, we
knows?
can't let Ohio State play Tennessee in the first round. Like they might lose. So put Tennessee or put Ohio State against I don't know who's the good group of five. I don't even know who it is.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Um,
yeah, exactly.
I'm blanking on who it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Army, is it Army? Maybe it's Army. I don't know.
yeah, Ha-
But I could definitely see them saying, "Oh, we're not going to put Ohio State against Tennessee. We're going to play Army."
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
Army's a good team, so maybe they wouldn't do that. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know what goes on, but sometimes these matchups, it's like you're you're really just you're not ranking it by the best matchups and the best teams. You're really just trying to script what that
uh,
national championship game is.
they're
And
gonna totally do that. They will. There will be a first game in the playoff where it's two SEC schools. You watch.
yeah,
It will shock me if there's not.
I mean,
And that
it's gonna be
nobody
fun to
wants to
watch.
see that, especially if the two teams have already played. Like that's not
Yeah,
cool. But whatever. It is what it is.
yeah. Well, the last game that or two teams that had buys, they're going to be playing this week. Alabama at LSU.
Yeah, that's always a battle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to
That'll be a good
see
game. Yep.
a lot on the line for LSU. And
And Bama. Yeah.
is there a glimmer of hope for Alabama?
Well, if they
Possibly.
beat LSU, there is for
They
sure.
if they beat LSU, I mean, if
I think
Alabama
that's
wins
Tennessee's
out,
worst nightmare, actually. You don't want Alabama to win out
yeah,
because then you're going to face them again.
yeah, right. And they're going to figure it out eventually. Not,
No,
I mean,
yeah,
they
LSU and
figure it
Bama is
out.
going to
They
be a
only
good
got two
game.
losses, but
Yeah, there's some good games, and that's going to be a good one. And I didn't mention this because I just found out, but I will be at the Florida LSU game, which is coming up in 2 weeks.
ooh,
A buddy of mine and I are going to go to that game, and yeah, so I'll be at the Florida LSU game. So I
there you go.
anticipate LSU will handle business in that game, but that's 2 weeks away, so we'll get
And
there.
where's that game?
That's in Gainesville. Yep.
Okay, awesome. You twice, Gainesville twice, going to the
Yeah,
swamp
I
twice in
mean, I'm
1 year.
I'm an
Look at
Auburn
you.
fan through and through, but if you get a chance to go see Florida and LSU, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And my wife's a Gator, and I was like, okay, I can make an exception here,
Yeah.
so I will, and I'm going, and that's the plan. So looking forward to hopefully, having some good stories. So
Yeah. Well, no shame. I've been to two Georgia games, one at um what was I think it was before Mercedes-Benz, um the Georgia Dome. And then once between the hedges. I don't think I'm ever going to get invited back because Georgia lost both those games.
oh
But
yeah,
I I
your family
did
won't allow that. Yeah.
yeah, I did don the red and black for both games.
It's painful, but if it's not against your school, you can kind of justify it. I mean,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
can't stand Georgia just like you can't. But if I'm at a Georgia game and they're not playing Auburn or they're not playing, another team that I really really like, I probably will fall in line and be like, okay, why not? Go
and
for the hometown team, and
yeah,
yeah, sure, why not? And I
and
am definitely going to do that with the Gators. I'll cheer for the Gators. And are they going to beat LSU? I don't think so. Probably not. You got Texas and then LSU. That's a terrible 2 weeks for Florida. Anyway, yeah, but I'm
that,
going.
that is a terrible 2 weeks, um, especially to see what Texas does after squeaking by Vanderbilt last week.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
es escaping Nashville, uh,
yeah. Well,
with a
that's
win
what it
there.
is. The escape from Nashville, and we'll see if South Carolina can do it.
Yeah, man. Phew. I I don't know what I want more. South Carolina to continue to look good, or I mean, I live in Nashville. I'm pulling
No,
for
no, no. I'm
Vanderbilt.
pulling for Vandy. Vandy beat Auburn. Yeah, this is Vandy's year. I want to see Vandy win as many as they can.
Yeah.
Except I don't want to see Vanderbilt beat Tennessee because I know Tennessee's got a legit shot at the SEC championship playoffs. So I don't want to see them beat Tennessee, but I do want to see them beat South Carolina. So
Yeah. Same. Same. So I may have to find some gold and black,
man,
black and gold for the weekend.
you got no excuse not to, man, because you're literally right there, and that is this is the only season Vanderbilt's going to be good, most likely. Could be for the next decade, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Clark Lee is really going to change culture there, and I hope he does. So,
I hope so. I also
mm,
want to get down there and see Vanderbilt's completed football stadium. I mean,
yeah,
they finished all the renovations
I
that
mean it's supposed to be reasonable, right? I mean,
yeah,
is it going to be the same as Knoxville? Of course not, but it's going to be good for Vandy.
yeah.
So.
It's gonna be hard to get tickets now, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, and how often were you really trying to get those tickets? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And unless your team was coming to play them, yeah,
Yeah.
probably not. So
Well, I I've loved how chaotic it has been
yeah,
all
I have to.
season.
Yeah,
Um, I know I've said this time and time again. I truly can't remember last time it was this chaotic, and I love it because we've got zero undefeated teams in the SEC.
yeah, that's a
Uh,
rarity. Yeah,
it's rare. I'm interested to see what it does for the uh playoff rankings and the playoff picture when we get there. Um, because if you're listening to this as it's released tonight, we get the results. Who cares about the election? We care about the college football playoff committee
that's
and
really what I thought you were talking about. Like I was like I almost forgot for a minute. Like what are you talking about? And yes, yeah, the playoffs, and then oh yeah, there is this other thing going on. But yeah,
yeah, let's be honest. The leader of the free world is the SEC.
yeah, making America great again really involves Tennessee going to the playoffs. And anyone who says otherwise is, they're obviously fascist. I
Yeah,
think that's how the other party would call it. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's my team, my choice. I choose a win. I choose a win
Oh,
every time.
yeah, we could go on a whole list of those. I'll stop there, but yeah, well played. That was a good one.
Oh, well,
Yep.
I, 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 I truly can't believe.
Tennessee is no longer burdened by what has been, you know.
I hope so. I mean, I love the culture. I love um look, it started out a Tennessee podcast. It's gonna
It still
finish
is.
a
I
Tennessee
mean,
podcast. The fight to see the team push Dylan Sampson into the end zone towards the end of the game for a a program record. Is it 19 rushing touchdowns? And we still got 4 games left.
yeah,
Um, a a let's see, did they say it was 1946? Something um is
wow,
when the record was set. Um, like that was a team effort,
yeah,
and great to see defensive stops when they
love it.
needed them.
Yep.
Nico played well. Um, couple of overthrows, drop
Yeah,
balls, but
that happens. Yep.
overall a pretty decent game. Just man, tough at times, but that's
Yeah,
Kentucky for you.
that is Kentucky, but Tennessee wins, and you got Mississippi State coming up, and that should likely be a win as well. So, and then we got some good games next week. You got LSU, you got Georgia. Yeah, there's some fun ones coming up.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to it. Well, Jared, thank you again.
yeah, I love it, man. Like you said, great season so far. Would love to see my team do better, but can't win them all.
Yeah.
So, doesn't mean you can't enjoy SEC football, and I'm still gonna do that. So.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's not that far removed from the Pruitt years, so I
Well, I'm
mean
glad they are removed from the Pruitt years for your sake, anyway.
that that
So,
that wound's still healing. So that
where is Pruitt now?
who
Is he like
cares?
at some high school in yeah,
Um,
Obscurityville? Yeah.
probably working at McDonald's, handing out bags of cash.
Well, he probably that Tennessee buyout probably kept him from going to McDonald's, but yeah, maybe like a Chick-fil-A or something.
It'd be my pleasure. It'd
Yeah,
be my pleasure.
yeah. Well, he needs some redemption, and Chick-fil-A would be like that,
Yeah,
the good way to do that. So
yeah. Well, and if you'd like to send us a McDonald's bag of cash,
yes,
find us online, third Saturday in October.com, on social media and Venmo at
yes.
TSIO Pod. Uh, Jared, may the
Always a
chaos
pleasure, Bradley,
continue.
and it will, and it will. Hopefully not on Tennessee's dime. So
Yeah. Although I don't mind if it's on Tennessee's dime, charging the field.
charging the field, that'd be the only exception. Yeah.
Let's charge the field in Athens. Let's do it. Um, I mean,
The away team charges the field.
but does Georgia have to pay us then?
I
Let
don't know.
let's
I don't
win,
know.
and like as soon as we win, put on a Georgia shirt
Yeah.
over your Tennessee orange and storm the field.
I want to see Bradley like running into the Cumberland River there in Nashville when that happens. That's what I want to see. So I want
What?
to see you taking a dip in the Cumberland. I think that's fair.
I may
Uh,
jump in a river.
not in that one.
Yeah,
All right.
not in that one.
Fair
But
enough.
hey, let's win at Mississippi State. We got UTEP,
I think you should.
Georgia,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. And Auburn cannot lose next week, and that is somewhat healing to my soul. So
Well, good to hear. Well,
yes.
as I like to say every week, heroes come in all sizes and roll balls.
Tailgate, man cave, living room, pregame, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip, pregame, scotch and a lot of IPA, Coca-Cola,